I'll fly, and I'll fly into the end of the sky. So I'll be the one who doesn't have to say goodbye.
Hey there guys, I'm Brony Shoutouts. It's my little pony video called Sparrow reads I'm sorry, Twilight. My Little Pony reading Psychological Cosmic Horror Part 1. It is 33 minutes and 12 seconds long. Oh yes, psychological cosmic horror. I don't know, are we talking about makeup here?
Seriously?
Sorry, Alpha Bloom. Really am. Okay, I'm sorry, Twilight. It reminds me of a song called I'm so sorry, so sorry.
Seriously?
Sorry, Alpha Bloom. Really am. Sorry. I'm sorry, Twilight. I know Spike's in it. I know he's talking about Twilight. It's not a grimdark, which is surprising. It's horror, which is kind of like grimdark, but is it more like the scare factor sort of thing? I really don't know. No. I don't know what the story is going to be about as such. Let's get this reaction started in 3, 2, 1, go. Warning, the following video contains content that some viewers might find disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. What's with that music? Bit loud there. Sparrow presents just the intro, Mark. Sparrow reads. I'm sorry, Twilight. Part 1. And it starts with piano. Or something.
I'm sorry, Twilight.
That is bright!
Written by the Seven Saviors.
I thought you were going to say Seven Sisters there.
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1.
I've
There
been
goes
having some
the
really
clock.
weird dreams lately.
Really?
I set the large mug of coffee I'd been nursing for the last 5 minutes down on the dining room table and looked down at Spike. My brows furrowed in
I thought you were going to
and
talk. I thought you were talking to Dr.
I see
Colstein
him
there.
fidgeting under my bemused gaze, not looking me
Hello,
in the eye,
Spike.
and that makes me worry all the more.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Somehow I can tell this isn't going to be a good start to the day ahead, and something in the back of my
Something
mind
is on
tells me
Twilight's
things
mind, I
may
can
only
say
get
that.
Worse. Ignoring that little niggling voice in my head, I addressed the uneasy Drake. My face
Is it
serious,
Annie?
but my
Is it
tone
Annie
light
in your
and
head?
encouraging. Oh? What kind of dreams? I asked.
Going into the
Are they
light.
keeping you up at night? No, it's nothing like that.
Come on!
Spike
There goes
replies,
Sweetie Belle.
shaking his head.
No.
He makes
What is
odd
it?
gestures with his claws as he speaks, as though he's trying to grasp something intangible.
Oh.
It's just...
What?
It's hard to explain. They haven't been keeping me up. He trails off and lets out a small groan of irritation, or perhaps embarrassment, judging by the
Spike
slight blush
is
in his
possessed
scaly
by
cheeks.
the P word.
But
The
what?
poltergeist. The poker.
I pressed,
Ah!
my worried frown fading ever so slightly at the sight. I shifted
The
my chair,
sight.
turning to fully face the baby dragon.
He's no
What
baby
is it,
anymore,
Spike?
though, is he?
If it's something you'd rather any pony else not know, then... No. That's not it either.
What is it?
Spike interjects. He raises his claws to his temples, rubbing them softly for a moment before letting out a resigned sigh. It's just... the dreams seem so... eerie
Real.
when I'm having them. But when I think about actually
Is it
telling you
giggle
about
at the
them,
ghosty
it
sort
just
of treats?
seems silly. Well,
Silly?
why don't I be the judge of that? I reply.
Well,
My frown now fully
Twilight
replaced
can't go
with
into
a
dreams,
reassuring
though.
smile.
yet.
What's on your mind, Spike?
What's on your mind?
He looks at me for a long moment, as if trying to decide whether or not I'm serious.
Say no more. Get
The moment
Dr.
passes, and he
Goldstein
lets out
on
another
board.
sigh and shrugs before walking over to the opposite side of the table where the other seat is.
Seat?
I watch him patiently as he scrambles up onto the chair, taking the opportunity to sip more of my rapidly cooling coffee.
Coffee? I just
stared
had
at the
coffee.
pitch black liquid sloshing around in my mug for a second or two. Then my horn
Oh.
lights up with a simple thermal-based spell, and I smile in satisfaction as I see steam rise from the mug once again. It's as I decide to take another sip that Spike speaks again, and what he
What does
says
Spike
throws me
say?
off enough to make me stop mid-sip. A cat. I blink at him in response, and
Sweetie
gently set
Belle,
the
that's
mug
fucking
back
fighting
down.
me there.
Cat?
Cat?
I repeat, incredibly unsure
where's
of
the
where
cat?
this is going.
There's no cat here yet.
A cat. He confirms
Where?
with a solemn nod.
Pussy, where are you?
Every single night for the past week or so, I've been having this dream where I'm standing inside the doorway of the Golden Oak Library.
Oh?
When I look behind
Oh.
me, there's no door, just complete darkness and absolute silence. He shivers at the memory, and I feel my heart skip a beat for some reason.
The Golden Gate Library
your
Library
name.
is haunted.
He continues in a somewhat subdued voice.
Well, it's fire, isn't it? The spirits around it.
Start reaching for you, but I can't find you anywhere. I can't find any pony. The library is just empty and quiet. His frown deepens, and his gaze lowers.
Maybe
to
it's the
table
roots
in
that
front
is
of him.
telling you something. I don't know.
Then I go upstairs, and that's where I see it.
What?
That cat?
The
I
cat?
surmise, my voice lowering to match Spike's. He nods once, and his face suddenly scrunches up in thought. I would have found it adorable had I not suddenly found myself feeling as uneasy as the little dragon looked when he first approached me.
Oh?
It's lying in my bed, watching me as I come into the bedroom. He says, giving another little shudder.
Well, okay, sweet well. The cat's lying in
Like
bed.
it's been waiting for me to show up.
That's what Princess
does it
does.
look like?
That's my cat does.
I asked,
Is it black?
uncertain of
It's
whether
a black
or not
cat,
I
isn't
really
it?
want
It
to.
has to be a black cat.
Can you remember?
No.
That's just it. He replies with a shake of his head. The cat itself. That's what's hard to explain. It's like,
What?
I know it's a cat, but that's all I know. Nothing else about it makes any sense.
Reminds me of the
How do you mean? I push. Still uneasy,
is it
but
Twilight?
currently
Is
curious.
it Fluttershy but not Fluttershy?
What about it doesn't make sense? I don't know. Everything.
Is
Spike
Is it the-
cries,
is it a
throwing
shadow
his arms
figure or
up in
something?
exasperation.
should I
I
get
look
oh my
at it,
gosh on
and my brain
board?
says that's a cat, but my eyes,
Oh.
my eyes have no clue. It's freaky, Twilight.
What?
All right, I understand, Spike. I say,
It's a cat,
raising my hooves in
But
placation.
it's not a cat.
I want to
it's a
ask you to
shape-
try
is it a
and
shape
explain the
twister?
unexplainable.
A shape
No,
twister thing.
I'm
I don't
sorry,
know.
Twi. Spike replies with another weary sigh.
Oh?
Ugh, this whole thing's got me messed up, and I just want to know what it all means.
It
It's
means
okay,
get
Spike.
Dr. Colstein on
I
board.
assure him with another reassuring smile. Maybe we can figure it out together. If not, we can always ask Luna to look into
You
the
got
matter.
this
So there's no need to
together!
worry so much, okay?
No.
My words seem to mollify the baby dragon for the most part, and I motion him to
Well,
continue.
Spike is not really a dragon. No,
Now,
he's not really a
What
baby
happens
dragon.
next? Well, once I'm
Oh.
in the room, it starts talking to me.
The cat
His
talks.
face scrunches up again, and
Is
he
it
slowly
Cinderella
resumes
now?
his explanation
Not Cinderella?
a few seconds later.
Is it Cinderella? No, not Cinderella.
The things
No.
it says. When I first started having these dreams, I couldn't understand it at all.
You've been possessed
It
by
just
a
made
cat. I don't know what. What's the? Is
He
it a
looks up
demon?
at
Is
me.
it a? Is it a?
He looks past
Something,
me
I don't
as
know.
he tries to remember, his eyes going slightly cloudy in the process. They weren't normal cat sounds either. It was like a bunch of different feral creatures growling and screeching and screaming in my head all at once.
It's a demon.
Doesn't sound pleasant.
No, of
I
course
reply,
not, Twilight.
trying and failing to imagine the sound. I start to realize the more I hear about this cat, the less I want to know. I've heard of recurring
Dear
nightmares, and have even had a few in the past. But this? This doesn't sound normal. It
It's
doesn't
not normal.
feel normal.
It's not
Nevertheless,
normal.
and despite my own growing apprehension, Spike continues, trying
Ow.
to suppress yet another shudder as he speaks.
Oh, God.
It definitely wasn't pleasant. And it still isn't
Is
really,
it pony?
he says.
I can't say is it
Then his
human,
expression
but is it
becomes
pony?
uncomfortable, and he
Is
begins
it
to fidget once
anything
again.
in nature?
It actually did scare me enough to wake me up when I first heard it. But I think I'm beginning to understand at least a little bit. That's
What?
kind of why I decided to tell you about it now.
What is it?
I suddenly have an almost overwhelming urge to end the conversation here and now. I don't want to
End
hear
it,
anymore,
Twilight.
and that itself worries and confuses me. Thinking on what
Yeah.
I've heard so far, the dream certainly sounds unsettling, but it shouldn't have been any scarier than a mild nightmare. Despite this,
It's
that
more
same
than just a
niggling
nightmare
voice from
to
earlier is
scare
telling me
Spike.
that this isn't something I want to concern myself with. I'm hit
Maybe
with
you
a
have
sharp
to.
pang of guilt at the thought, and forcefully try
Is
to
it
shove that
is
strange
it
urge
blue
down.
blood?
It doesn't matter how I feel about what's being said. Spike is troubled,
So,
and I chose to hear him out at the very least.
does Spike normally
At
get
this
nightmares?
point, I'm not sure what I can do other than speak to Luna or refer to a few books I have on the subject of dreams and the
You can
possible
speak to.
symbolism
You could
therein.
try and speak to
But I
Luna.
swallow my unease and press on, asking questions I really don't want to
Is
ask.
it sort of thing, face your fear sort of thing?
It spoke to you again last night? I surmise.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing you understood what it said?
Is it your father?
Another silent nod from Spike. And I
And
swallow, suddenly finding my throat dry. And what did it say?
I ain't gonna
Spike
kill
looks at me
you.
then. Really looks at me. And there's something in his eyes that I don't like.
It's picking me
There's
down a
something in
pie.
those draconic jade irises that I want to hide from. There's something almost accusatory in his gaze. And
Oh?
seeing this, my worry and confusion only grow.
Is it Twilight
Another
talking
moment
to?
passes, and he looks back down
in
at
the
the
dream.
table and rubs his arm nervously as he answers, his words more hesitant than before. It was sort of hard to make out, but the cat, it told me you were hiding something from me.
What?
He looks back up at me with a small frown. From all of us.
So I
from
got a bloody moth on the
Every
screen.
pony.
Get away, moth. Get away. Get away. Cheer.
Chapter 2.
Chapter 2. Okay. That sounded like Tomb Raider music.
I can see it in the slight furrowing of his brow. The way the
Why is
corners
it-
of his mouth turned down just a bit.
Why does it look like
Naturally,
Spike,
I tell Spike that
Twilight's
I'm not
come
hiding
from
anything.
the heaven or something
Not that I
through
can
the
think
light?
of at any rate.
Is
He
Twilight
watches me intently,
is
searching
Twilight
my
dead or
face
something?
and evidently not liking what he sees. In a way, I can't blame him. His accusation catches me completely off guard, and for a long moment I'm speechless.
There's more to this
I have
story
no
though,
deep
is there?
secrets I've kept from Spike or any pony else, but the look on my face probably conveys otherwise. Judging by
I've-
Spike's expression, he's no doubt mistaken my bewildered look for guilty surprise. Shocked that I had been found out.
I'm getting dirty
This is
thoughts.
far
Not
from
dirty-
the truth.
Not dirty thoughts,
And I
but,
try to
but horror
assuage his
thoughts.
suspicions, but he waves my words away with a dismissive claw.
Oh,
He tells
cool
me
like
not
that.
to worry about it,
Ow.
that it really was just a stupid dream, and that he's probably just paranoid.
It's more than just
He
a
even
dream though,
apologizes
isn't
for
it?
bringing it
I
up
feel
in the
it's
first
more
place
than just
so
a
early in
dream.
the morning. He pushes himself away from the table and hops off his seat, intending to get breakfast started. But I remain where I am, troubled, confused, and admittedly a bit hurt. I know he still doesn't believe me, just like I know that his dream is more
I
than
think
he's
Twilight.
making it out
There's
to be.
more.
What
There's
I don't
something.
understand
there's
is why
something
he
you have-
seemingly chooses
I
to
don't know.
trust
It's very
some
hard. Is
creepy
it?
dream
Is it
creature
some?
over
Is
me.
it something that
I
Twilight?
haven't always been completely truthful with Spike
I
in
don't
the
know,
past, A few
Is
and
it
very far
true
between
that
are the times that I've actually lied to him.
Twilight is holding back
Even
something?
then, they've never been anything more than white lies. The only times I've really kept any big secrets from him are when birthday and heartwarming presents are involved.
Yeah, that's
I trust Spike,
understandable.
and I know he trusts me, so why the sudden distrust? Why listen to this cat when he has no idea of what it really is or its intentions? If it is indeed an actual sentient creature that somehow managed to invade his dreams and isn't just a figment of his imagination. No. Something is very wrong with this creature, and I aim to find out what it is.
Very wrong, Twilight.
I ask Spike if he wants
In
to
the
talk to
Golden
Luna about the dream,
Oak
but
Library.
again, he tells me not to worry about it. He tells me once more that it's just a really weird dream and that he'll stop having it eventually. It's clear that he doesn't even believe what he's saying, but I still find myself struck by how guarded
Like I
he's
said, it's
suddenly
more
become.
than just a dream.
Still, I try to ignore the hurt and focus on helping Spike with his problem, whatever it may be.
How can you
I leave the
help
matter
this?
be for a moment, as I join Spike in making breakfast. But his accusation continues to sit like a heavy stone in the back of my mind.
Oh,
The rest of the morning goes by without any more problems, but I silently dwell on Spike's words for the rest of the day and well
Twilight
into the
is worried
night.
for Spike. You can feel that.
As I lie awake, gazing up at Luna's moon through the closed window above my bed, I rack
Luna's
my brain
moon?
in an attempt to
Luna
remember
owns the
whether or
moon.
not I've
Luna
hidden
owns
anything
the
from any
moon.
pony lately. A few minutes turn to half an hour, then a full hour, and in the end, nothing comes to mind. It takes another few moments to pull my thoughts away from the
Look
subject,
at a book or
but
something.
eventually, I decide to get some sleep. I shift around slightly in an effort to
It
get more
seems like
comfortable,
Twilight's going to get the same
but
nightmare.
something catches my eye and makes my heart leap into my throat. In my peripheral vision, I notice twin flashes of jade shining in the dark. I quickly
Jade?
turn to face the source of the light, my eyes wide, and a sharp, startling gasp escaping my lips.
Is it a
But
ghost?
I'm only met with the gently snoring form of Spike, deeply asleep in his small bed just across the room. I watch him for a short while as I wait for my heartbeat to slow
Look,
back down
Pissy.
to a normal pace.
Come here,
His eyes
Pissy.
are closed, his breathing is slow and even, and his features are
I'm
slack
in
and
trouble now. I've
peaceful.
got a cat with me.
After a time, I manage to convince myself that Spike
Hello.
is fast asleep and take a moment to wonder if he's having the same dream again tonight. Given how serene he looks, I'm not sure.
No,
But I give
you
the
don't.
matter no more thought and finally turn away.
And go back to bed.
As I close my own eyes and pull my blanket closer around me,
Sweetie Belle,
I try
shit!
to ignore the sudden and unsettling sensation of another set of eyes bearing down on me from behind. A few days pass by, and things settle back into a normal rhythm for the most part. But there are times when I catch Spike acting oddly. The day
Not
after
normal.
we'd talked, I had asked Spike if he was still having that dream, and though he told me with as much enthusiasm as he could muster that he hadn't, I knew better. Still,
He's
I
having the
chose
same
to give him the
dreams.
benefit of the doubt, and didn't pursue the issue. We didn't talk about the dream anymore after that, but I did keep an eye on him from that point on. Now, after having observed him for the last few days, I start to see changes in the Drakelink.
Oh.
Minor changes all things considered, but concerning all the same.
Is Spike really there though?
He
Is
gives
it?
me
It's not.
strange looks
It's
when
not
he
a
thinks I'm
chameleon.
not looking,
Oh,
and
a
there are times where I find
shapeshifter.
him mumbling to himself whenever he thinks he's alone. What I find strange
Someone
is that I
is
can never quite
controlling
understand
Spike
what he's
or
saying,
something?
no matter
I don't
how
know.
hard I listen. And he always seems to stop just as I get within earshot, even when I know he can't
It's
see me.
possessed with the
I've
P
heard
word.
him talk to himself in the past, but he's never been this secretive about what he says. Other than that, I
No,
haven't seen him
that's
do
it. I'm not
anything
saying
else
it. I'm
out
not
of the
saying it.
ordinary. And what I do see
can't
and
make
hear
me.
is enough to cause me some apprehension. A part of me
Oh,
believes
dear.
I'm overthinking things, reacting poorly to something that may end up being nothing at all. There are countless reasons why Spike might be acting the way he is, but I don't know what they could possibly be. Nor do I
There's
ask
more
my
research
assistant
that needs to be
directly.
done here on Twilight.
I want to trust that he'll tell me what's wrong, but I know he won't.
No.
Though he tries to hide it, I can still see the wariness
No.
and suspicion whenever our eyes meet. And before I know it, as much as I want to deny it, I've grown just as wary and suspicious of my faithful assistant as he has of me. Another week or so goes by,
I don't know,
and
it's
the
very hard
tension
to
between
see what's
Spike
going
and
on.
I grow. Conversation between the two of us has become awkward, curt, and stilted. He still remains my faithful
Spike
assistant,
is holding something
helping
back,
me when
I
I
think.
need him, but it's clear things aren't how they were
I don't know,
before our
it seems
talk.
like Spike is holding something back.
I can feel that tension in the air, but I try to block it out and focus on my research into Spike's recurring dreams. I don't have many books on the subject in the library,
Maybe that
but
you
I
need to
pull all the
do more
knowledge I
than
can
just
from the
research.
resources I do have available
Maybe
to
you
me,
need
and
outside
find several
help or
different
something.
interpretations of what may be wrong with Spike. The interpretations range
It's
from the baby
due
dragon
to
being
the
uncertain
cat!
about his future, to repressed emotions or feelings of loneliness, and many different issues in between.
Hello.
The more I read, the more I'm convinced that none of these interpretations fit the scenario. I cast aside the books regarding dream symbolism and turn instead to
Prince
a
is
book on
gone.
demons and other magic-based creatures. One of my guesses is that this cat might be some kind of malevolent being that somehow invaded Spike's subconscious and is trying to turn him against me for some
What have we
unknown
done to
purpose.
Spike?
If that is the case, then I'd have to get Luna involved, as I had no way of fighting against something like
Get
that.
Luna involved! Come on!
I planned to seek Princess Luna's aid regardless of what I found out, but I wanted to have a firmer grasp on the situation before I spoke with her, so she'd have more to work with than a vague description and some suspicions. Unfortunately, while there are some monsters and demons that have the ability to enter and even devour dreams, I
Yeah.
find nothing matching the specific entity that Spike described. I entertain the idea of a shapeshifter, but nothing I read indicates
Oh,
any kind
there's
of
a
shape-shifting
shapeshifter.
creature that can also enter dreams. I don't rule out that they exist, as I only have the one
Is it
book
Annie?
in my library to
Is it
refer to,
shape-shifting
but I'm
Annie?
certain it doesn't contain everything I need to know. Unsatisfied with the results, I give up on my search and resign myself to asking Luna for help with barely anything to go on.
How can...
I'm hoping her
Okay, Luna
experience
can
will
get
be
into
enough to
dreams though.
compensate for my lack of knowledge, and that she'll be able to do something for Spike.
But is Luna in danger as
I
well?
don't like the tension. I don't like the rift that's slowly forming between Spike and I. I want it to stop. I want things to go back to how they were before Spike told me about his recurring dreams, and I pray that Luna can help me make that happen. I try my best to keep it from Spike, but
But
the
that's
stress
just...
and
Does even
anxiety is
Luna know
beginning
what
to
it
get
is?
to me. It's late at night, almost morning by my guess, and even now I
It's
rise
not
from
quite
the small desk
late.
in my room
It's late at night,
and
but it's not
snuff out
morning
the
yet.
candle I'd been using to read by. I can still feel the weight of those eyes on my back. My ears twitch as
is
I
there more
listen to the
books you
sound
haven't
of
looked
Spike's
in,
slow
Twilight?
and steady breathing, and I try to find solace in that, but I can no longer ignore that hideous, unseen gaze. It seeps into every pore and makes my skin crawl. I get very little
Crawling
sleep that
in
night,
my skin!
just like the last few nights before.
Before what?
Chapter 3.
Oh, chapter 3, here we go. Ooh, change the music there!
I frown at Rarity's dismissive
That's
response,
classical
not
pace.
at all happy with the way she's treating the situation. After some deliberation,
Oh.
I'd decided to talk to a couple of my friends about what's been going on between Spike and I. I wanted to get some additional
who would you speak
input
to?
before I
A
sent a letter
Rapidash
to
or
Luna
Fluttershy?
about Spike's dreams. And I was hoping they could give some insight into any other options or solutions I'd missed. Given who the subject of the issue was,
Is it something
the
to
first
do with
opponent I
the
came to was Rarity.
Pony
She may not
Shadows
care
or
for
something?
Spike
I don't
in the
know.
same way he does for her, but she's almost as fond of the little Drake as I am.
Rarity?
With that in mind, I left Spike back at the library and made my way over to Carousel Boutique to talk with Rarity. Despite how busy
There's
she was,
Rarity!
the mayor was more than willing to listen to what I had to say, and I
Yeah,
certainly
Rarity's
had plenty to say.
is a
Her
generous
reply,
pony.
unfortunately, left a lot to be desired. While this recurring dream does sound rather strange,
Hello, Rarity!
I don't believe it's cause for any concern.
Oh?
Rarity says, ignorant of my growing irritation as she continues to carefully push whatever fabric she was working on through her sewing machine. All that brooding, the dirty looks, the secrecy, it's clearly a sign that our favorite little trick is growing up. I act as much the
Rarity's
same
a
as
bit
the
like,
feeling,
Blue
and I'm
Bloods
going
in the
through something
voice a bit.
similar with Sweetie Belle right now. She
Oh,
pauses in
Sweet
her
Belle
work
didn't go off
and
then.
turns to give
Sweet
me
Belle
a
didn't go off and
sympathetic
went.
smile.
Yeah.
It will all pass eventually, Twilight, just like that dream. And like a dream, it will be as if nothing ever happened between you two.
Oh?
I'm not so sure it's that simple, Rarity.
No, it's not
I
that
reply
simple.
with the utmost patience. It's not just the dirty looks and secrecy I'm worried about. Lately he's been vanishing off to who knows where without warning, and when he does, I can't seem to find him
Spike
anywhere.
sleepwalking or something? It's
It's
something
never for more than
controlling
half an
Spike
hour
in
or
his
so,
sleep.
but when I ask him where he's been, he just gives me this blank look and
Or
says
does he
things
travel
like, I just
somewhere
went out for
within
some
his
air,
dream?
or I took
And
a walk
that
around
is actually
town for a
happening
bit.
at the time.
Most of the time, he doesn't say anything at all. When was the last time you saw him just take a walk around town, Rarity? Rarity raises an eyebrow and looks at me over her red
has
framed
something there.
glasses. Every time you or I ask him to run an errand for us? She replies slowly.
Maybe.
I'm sorry, Twilight dear, but I'm still not seeing the same problem that you are. Forgive me if I sound rude, but from my perspective, all I can see is a
The
mother
real Twilight?
trying to deal
Is
with
that
her
real
rebellious
Rarity?
son.
Is it a trap? Is it a
I stare
trick?
back at the other mirror in disbelief.
Are we
my
talking
mouth
to
flapping
Rarity here?
uselessly
Or
as I
is that
struggle to find a
not Rarity? I
response.
don't know. Is Rarity the
I actually take a
shapeshifter?
moment to play everything I've told
Is it
Rarity back
opalescence?
in my head and realize she's right. I do sound like a concerned mother, and I can't even deny it. The truth is,
Well,
in some
Twilight
ways, that's
is a mother.
exactly what I feel like. The realization
Is
does nothing to
Twilight
deter me
is
from
like
my
a mother to
suspicions,
Spike.
but I make a mental to tweak
in a
my
way.
explanation so I'm taken more seriously when I write my letter to Princess Luna. A sigh snaps me out of my thoughts, and I focus back on Rarity, just in time to see her shut off her machine and fully turn to face me.
Oh.
I may not understand your thought process here, Twilight, but I can see this is important to you,
It is
she
important to
says
Twilight.
with a reassuring grin.
Why is
Why
she
don't
grinning?
I
for?
talk to Spike for you? Perhaps see if I can find the root of this problem. Would that put you at ease? It wouldn't.
Yes.
In fact, I'm afraid of what might happen if she does. Still, I did ask for help, and if any pony else could get through to Spike,
Yes.
I would assume it'd be Rarity.
Yeah, because it's like
Aside
a
from
secret,
that,
a
and
secret
despite what she
shipping
says,
thing there.
I can see from her earnest expression that she's also worried about Spike and truly does want to help.
Yeah,
She's a
Rarity
lot
does
like
like.
Fluttershy in
Rarity-
that way, and I
Yeah.
suppose kindness and generosity tend to go hoof and hoof. I have
Hoof
my
and hoof.
misgivings, but it
Or
doesn't
claw-
take me
claw
long
and claw.
to agree to let her talk to Spike. Very well then. I still have some work left to do here, but I'll stop by the library in, say, half an hour? She asks.
Oh, this is story.
I tell her that's fine, and she
This is
nods before
pre-season,
lighting up her horn
this
and
is
pulling a small
pre-season
purple bit
5,
pouch from
isn't
one
it?
of the shelves near the wall of her workroom.
Golden
I watch
Oak
in amusement
Library.
as she pulls out a few
It's
bits
definitely
and floats them
before
over to me.
season 4.
What's this for?
Oh, come
I
on!
ask, taking the bits into
Hello,
my own
sweetie
magic
Belle.
and casting a quizzical frown at Rarity. It's obvious that this whole affair has taken its toll on you, dear. Baggy eyes, ratty mane, horribly crinkled tail, and your coat is as
It's
coarse
lesson
as
0
badly spun
Twilight.
wool. Rarity replies, shaking her head and setting the bit pouch aside. She reactivates her sewing machine and begins her work anew as she speaks.
Oh, okay.
You look absolutely dreadful, darling. I'll deal with Spike, but I want you to
Twilight
take that
is. I
and pay a
think
visit
Twilight's
to
more
Aloe
stressing
and
as
Lotus
such,
at the
really.
spa.
Twilight is
Tell them I
stressing.
sent you, and they'll take good care of you. I drop
Very
the
good
floating
care.
bits into an
Very
upturned
good care
hoof
of you.
and frown at them, then look
Oh.
back up to Rarity.
Thank you, Rarity.
Rarity, I appreciate the offer, but no excuses, Twilight Sparkle. Rarity interjects, snapping her machine off and
You
whipping
did
around
ask for
to
help,
face me again.
Twilight.
Her tone is hard, and her glare
We don't know if
harder.
it's going to be That's
I
sinister.
want you to march right down
Yet.
to that spa, and I want you to treat yourself. Stop for nothing, and don't you dare come out of that building until your coat, mane, and tail are all shining with the radiance
To
of
the
Celestia's
spa
brilliant
for
sun.
Twilight.
Is that understood?
Yes.
Caught off by her intensity, I flounder for something to say. Some kind of objection. I open my mouth to
Objection!
speak, but Rarity's glare sharpens, and I shut it again. Let out a long resigned sigh, and nod once. I let the irritation drain out of me, and give Rarity a grateful, if tired, smile.
Thank you.
Alright, you win, Rarity.
You
I
win.
finally reply, feeling lighter
Because
than
they're
I have
in
in
love.
the past few weeks.
I mean, Spike and Rarity.
I'll go and pamper myself like a proper mare should. What's that be to your liking, my lady? It very much would, yes. Rarity replies, raising her muzzle
That's
and
so not
speaking
Twilight
in a
there.
snooty tone. We share a small laugh, and she gives me another reassuring smile. In all seriousness, you don't need to worry much, Twilight.
No.
All Spike needs is time and a caring word or two, and things will be right as rain. You'll see.
There's still more to the
I hope
story.
you're
Something
right,
bad's
Rarity.
gonna happen to Spike
I
as
reply
such.
quietly.
I don't know.
Because I'm not sure what else to do at this point. I don't tell her about my plan to write to Luna, nor do I tell her about the eyes that watch me, or the strange sense of foreboding that seems to have settled over the library lately. Visits
Like
to
a
the
dark
library
cloud.
are scarce normally, but nowadays, it's like no pony wants anything to do with the place. I can't blame them,
It's
but I know
cursed.
Verity will find out for herself soon enough. So I hold
There's
my
a
tongue on that
spirit
matter.
within the
we say our
library.
goodbyes, and I turn to leave the boutique.
It's haunted.
Just as I reach the door to her workroom, a sudden thought hits me, and I turn back to the hard-working seamstress.
I don't know. Is it a poltergeist?
Hey, Rarity?
Mhm.
I begin tentatively.
Huh? What?
Can I ask you something? What is it, dear?
What is it?
Rarity calls back, keeping her eyes on her work. Is something else the matter?
Yes.
No, it's just... I pause for a second as I try to find the right words to say. This is probably going to sound strange, but have
What?
I acted or done anything you thought was suspicious lately?
Oh, what?
The machine
Spike
dies
doesn't
down
know.
yet again, and Rarity looks at me, completely bewildered. I'm sorry, but I don't quite follow.
I don't
She
follow
says.
as well.
Can you give me a bit more detail?
Yes. More
It's about
detail,
what
please, Spike.
said. I explain. How he thinks I'm hiding something. Not just from him, but every pony. I have no idea what he's talking about, but maybe...
It's the cat.
I don't know.
It's the
Maybe
shapeshifter
I just
again.
don't remember. Ah, I see.
I see.
Rarity replies, nodding her head. She lifts a hoof to her chin and hums in thought for a few seconds.
No.
Well, I can't think of anything right off hoof, but... She suddenly gives me an oddly sardonic smile. You're an incredibly smart man, Twilight.
I don't know.
If some pony like
What?
you really wanted to
Twilight?
keep secrets, I doubt even Celestia herself would be the wiser. My first instinct is to deny
me-
the claim, but I stop
I
myself
sense a
and really
trap.
think about what Rarity
I sense
said.
a trap. I'm
I
holding it,
am
so
a
don't know.
capable mare.
I
won't
sense a
deny
trap.
that.
I
But
sense
am I
a
really
trap
capable
somewhere.
enough to keep a
a
secret
trap.
from myself? Maybe,
Maybe.
I mutter, though I know whether or not I'm talking to Rarity or myself.
Is Verity
guess-
actually there?
I guess that's something to think about.
Of course it's something to think
Rarity
about.
says something else as I trot out of the workroom, but I don't hear her, lost in my own thoughts, as I am.
Oh. Spike is... Something's happened to Spike or something. Or controlling Spike. Wait for that to finish. Okay, that was Sparrow reads. I'm sorry, Twilight. My Little Pony fanfic reading. Psychological cosmic horror. Part 1. Okay, I don't know what it is, but something or someone or is either controlling Spike or is a demon within the library. The Golden Gate, no, Golden Oak. In the Golden Oak Library. It's like a, what's the word, it's like a shadow figure is in the library that only Spike sees, but not Twilight. It seems also there's also a Spike is leading his friends into a trap, maybe. I was getting the sense it was Twilight actually speaking to Rarity, or was Rarity the actual shape? Of course, Twilight will go to Rarity because of love interest with Spike. You know, Spike is quite young. Yeah, and else they say this is definitely pre-season 4, or just before the episode that all goes pear-shaped with the T-Rex. T-Rex? Is it T-Rex? Yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt that something is up with Spike. We don't know if Luna can actually help Spike. Even Luna knows what to do with Spike. Is it a I did say shapeshifter in chapter 1, and shapeshifter was mentioned in chapter 2. But what is the shapeshifter of? Is it a cat? Is it a black cat? Or is it something that... I still sense that there's something more to this actual story. There's something more. Something is, like I said, it's a shapeshifter. We don't know if it's actually technically... Oh, that's the first mob buzz in a long time. We don't know if it's actually a cat, or is it a shadow figure? Is it a ghost? Is it the P word? The poacher dice? Yeah, that one. But we don't know what it is really. There is chapter 2 that's coming up pretty soon that may shed some more light on this situation. Is it a sense that Spike doesn't have parents? Is it Spike real parents? I really doubt it. Maybe where Spike egg was found, maybe the egg is cursed. I don't know. That probably is a bit must be so, because Sparrow is actually reading the actual story. He's actually in the chat. He probably knows more than me. I don't know what it means by psychological cosmic horror. What's the cosmic part of it? Is it? I know it's not cosmic as in cosmetic as such. Is it something under Spike's? Well, Spike doesn't really have a bed really. He has his bed, but he can't go under it. It's more like a basket. Is it something within the roots? That makes me think. Is the actual roots haunted? Because it is a tree, and is there something around the land that's making this happen? Maybe something to do with the actual books. Is it something to do with the actual library itself? But it's affecting Spike more than Twilight. And only Spike seems to be infected with this. I don't know why Twilight doesn't feel the same way. There's more to the story. There's more to the story, and that will be in chapter 2 or part 2 of this story, which will be coming out soon once I get downloaded. Well, hope you like this reaction and all my reaction videos I do, and I'll see you next time. Oh, yes.
And I'll fly,